প্রলয়পয়োধি জলে ধৃতবানসি বেদাং বিহিত বহিত্র চরিত্রমুখেদম। প্রলয়পয়োধি জলে ধৃতবানসি বেদাং বিহিত বহিত্র চরিত্রমুখেদম। কেশবধৃত मीन शरीर जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे। जय केशवधृत मीन शरीर जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे। क्षितिरिह विपुलतरे तिष्ठति तव पृष्ठे, धरणी धरन किन चक्र गरिष्ठे। क्षितिरिह विपुलतरे तिष्ठति तव पृष्ठे, धरणी धरन किन चक्र गरिष्ठे। केशवधृत कूर्म शरीर जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे।
Hare Krishna, everyone. Here we are in Orissa, continuing with our journey around this particular state, looking for and discovering lost temples or temples that aren't very often visited, to document them and make them famous. Today we're in Kanchapanchana, and a little village in a jungle-like area. And as we came into town, the people were like really mesmerized to see so many Westerners here. They were following us around, and I heard yesterday we were in another village, some other part of Orissa, and even though it was a small village, people had cell phones, and I was told this morning that the videos they took went viral all around Jagannath Puri, all around Orissa, different parts of India. Prabhupada used to call the devotees who came in groups to facilitate him in his preaching in India, he called them dancing white elephants. So the social media is facilitating Prabhupada's movement now here in Orissa. It was nice to hear that. So here in this particular village, there's a very famous temple of Lord Nrisimha, Lakshmi Nrisimha. Actually, all over India, you find these beautiful temples of Lord Nrisimha, very, very ancient temples. And rightfully so. As we know, padam padam yat vipadam natesham. In this material world, there's danger at every step. So everyone seeks shelter, protection. Devotees, they seek protection from the Lord because they want to live long enough to fulfill the instructions of their spiritual master, the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to spread the Sankirtan movement all over the world. And also we need time to become Krishna conscious. It doesn't happen overnight. We have to be good sadhakas. And it takes a lifetime. Or Vasudeva Savamiti, Krishna says many lifetimes. So we'd like to live, if it's the Lord's desire, a long time. So we take shelter of Lord Nrisimha, especially because being the Lord's representatives in this world, when you preach in the material world, you naturally experience aggression. Padma Purana says there's two types of created beings in this world, the divine and the demoniac. And because the divine are going upward, devotees are going upward by dint of their Krishna conscious activities, the demoniac, addicted to sinful activities and cruelty to others, they're going down. Krishna says in Gita that for those demoniac people, he casts them into various demoniac species of life, life after life. So when something's going up and something's going down, they're very close together. It creates friction. You can make a fire, by creating friction between two sticks or rope like that, creates friction. So when there's very intense friction between the divine and the demoniac, between the devotees and the non-devotees, what happens, there's friction, and that friction appears personified as Bhagavan Nrisimha. One name of Nrisimha is Jwala Nrisimha. He appears like he's fire, Jwala Nrisimha. So these are the reasons that we take shelter of Lord Nrisimha. As we know, Lord Nrisimha is very popular in this ISKCON movement. He's very, very popular. One of the favorite deities. And we know there's many incarnations. In the Bhagavatam it's described that there's as many incarnations in this world as there are waves on the ocean. But as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we have favorites. Of course, our most favorite is Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, of whom we can play with in the playground of God in Vrindavan. But the Lord manifests various incarnations for specific purposes in this world. And Nrisimha is there for protection.
Jai Jai Kesavadhita Kurma Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Basati dasana shikhare dharani tabalagna Shashini kalanka kalebo nimogna Basati dasana shikhare dharani tabalagna Shashini kalanka kalebo nimogna Kesavadhrita sukara rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jai Kesavadhrita Sukara Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare.
But he's also special for another reason, which I'd like to point out today. This is given by Srila Rupa Goswami. He's quoting Padma Purana in his Laghu Bhagavatamritam. He says, two incarnations in particular are very special. Lord Ramachandra and Nrisimha. And quoting Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.5.16, I'll say here what Rupa Goswami says. He writes, in Lord Nrisimha, Ramachandra and Krishna, the 6 transcendental opulences are perfect and complete. We usually think, like Parashara Muni says, the definition of God is he has 6 opulences in full. Incarnations have partial, but in full. Rupa Goswami is saying that in Lord Nrisimha, Ramachandra, and Krishna, obviously, the 6 transcendental opulences are perfect and complete. They are the Paravashtas, the most important forms of the Lord, Krishna, Ram, and Nrisimha. From him, Krishna, they are manifested as lamps are lighted from an original lamp. Now it's interesting, in our research we also discovered that Jiva Goswami, he quotes the same verse from Padma Purana in his Krishna Sandarbha. He writes, Nrisimha Rama Krishna Shu Sadgunya Pari Purnanam. The 6 opulences of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation are fully present in the forms of Lord Nrisimha, Rama, and Krishna. This is really interesting. Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna, but in his incarnations as Ram and Nrisimha, for his purposes in this world, he displays those various qualities.
Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Tava Kara Kamala Bare Nakamat Bhuta Singam Dolita Hiranna Koshipu Tunavingam তবকর কমল বরে নখমত ভূত সিংহং দলিত হিরণ্য কশিপুতন ভিঙ্গম কেশবধৃত নরহরি রূপ জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জয় কেশবধৃত নরহরি রূপ জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে সলয়সি বিক্রমণে বলি মত ভূত বামন পদনখ নিরজনিত জন পাবন সলয়সি বিক্রমণে বলি মত ভূত বামন.
Now, we can go a little bit deeper here. This is more like Rasik here. Jiva Goswami says, in commenting on these verses I quoted, that within these statements is another secret. The secret is the completeness is in increasing order. Now, increasing order. If they're all perfect and complete, what's the completeness in increasing order? So, to begin with, Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka are perfect. They are more perfect in Mathura and most perfect in Vrindavan. Perfect, but perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. I've never heard this anywhere except in our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. Now, applying that same concept, Srila Jiva Goswami says that within this statements, the statements in Padma Purana and Laghu Bhagavatamrita, which I quoted earlier, there's a secret, and the secret is as follows. Nrisimha is complete, Rama is more complete, and Krishna is most complete. This is so beautiful. Perfectly complete, but complete, more complete, and most complete. So therefore, in our ISKCON movement, we give our hearts to Vrindavan Krishna, but Nrisimha is also a favorite, and so is Ramachandra, and rightfully so, because they possess these 6 opulences, and they facilitate the devotees as well. Lord Ram is the perfect example of a king, a ruler, which the world so much needs now, and Nrisimha is always there to protect his devotees. Now, of course, we see that devotees also have mishaps. They have more than that. They have illnesses and accidents, and then of course there's tragedies as well. So where's the protection? But we understand the most dangerous situation in this world, the most tragic situation in this world is to forget Krishna. We're told to always remember and never forget him. Because if we forget Krishna, we fall back into our materialistic activities, our sinful activities. It's possible. So we don't want to forget Krishna, especially as we made some positive steps and positive progress by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So our real prayer to Nrisimha is to please help me never forget Krishna. Because if you forget Krishna, then all the problems, they start all over again in your next birth. So that's real protection. To protect us, please protect me from illusion. This is how we're praying. And even deeper yet, Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that he's writing that he's rolling on the threshold of Nrisimha's palace, seeing the deity of Nrisimha in the palace. This is in the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said he's praying to that man-like God to please remove all obstacles on the path of pure devotion, on the path back to Braja, so that he can develop pure love for Radha and Krishna. So in this way we take shelter of Krishna's incarnation, Nrisimha, to protect us in this world so we can keep preaching and we can achieve prema bhakti. This is the real understanding of worshipping Nrisimha. And Nrisimha is very, 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 very merciful. He appeared to a 5-year-old boy, Prahlad Maharaj, who was being harassed by his his demoniac father. So it's not mythology, it's actual fact. Sankirtan devotees, there's so many stories Sankirtan devotees have about how they're being protected so they can continue preaching. So all glories to Lord Nrisimha, our protector. So therefore we're very happy to come to this temple and take shelter of this very ancient deity. You can see here I'm sitting on this stone temple. It's so old, it goes back maybe millenniums. But at one point it collapsed. So then the local villagers, they built another temple. When I first saw that temple, I thought that was the old temple. It's also so old. But just see for how long people here in Bharat, here in India, have been worshiping this most merciful form of Krishna, Bhagavan Nrisimha. So thank you very much. We'll continue with our pilgrimage. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Prahlad Maharaj, all glories to Bhagavan Nrisimha. Hare Krishna.
ধূমকিতো মি বকি মোপে করালম কেশবধৃত কলকি শরীর জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে শ্রী জয় দেব কবেরিদং মোদিত মুদারং শ্রীন সুখদং শুভদং ভবসারম শ্রী জয় দেব কবেরিদং মোদিত মুদারং শ্রীন সুখদং শুভদং ভবসারম কেশবধৃত দশবিধ রূপ জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জয় কেশবধৃত দশবিধ রূপ জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জয় কেশবধৃত দশবিধ রূপ জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে জয় জগদীশ হরে